Hey guys, I'm about to do a little gardening again today. In a sense, I can't decide how I want to organize the garden. I've been thinking through, there's a lot of things I need to do, like kill the ants that are around the garden and throughout the backyard. I did get some orange oil in from Amazon. It's been sitting in quarantine for a little bit, but I have to wait until I have a stretch of days where it's not gonna rain before I put it down. Anyway, we'll explore that in another video, but trying to decide where I want to put things in the garden. Here's our space over here, and it's really hard to mow in this space anyway, like all the way from this corner around to here. So I want to really convert it into a good garden space. My thought is that I'll have a raised bed maybe in this area right here, and then I'll have a couple of rows over here where the sunlight hits well, and then maybe some more shade-loving plants or a sitting area in this corner. And the sunflowers I plan to put along the fence area here. So I'm really thinking through this, trying to figure out how I want to do it, how I want to design it. It's just hard to decide, and plus, like I said, I don't want to go to Home Depot. I kind of like the thrill of using stuff you have and trying to figure out how to repurpose it. I want to get an area where I have composting going, so I'll look into that. Also, let me show you this. There she is up there, guarding her little babies. Sweet bird. Maybe at some point we'll be able to get up on a ladder and I'll actually be able to show them to you, but I don't want to scare her too bad. I'll have to wait when she's like away gathering things for them. I'll step inside for a bit and show you how the seedlings are doing. They're actually sprouting, some of them, so that's exciting. And I want to go out front today. Since I'm still trying to figure out the garden piece, I'm gonna go out front and pull some weeds because it's really bad out there. So here are the seeds. This bunch is not really growing. We've got some squash here, yellow squash that was old, so I'm not really expecting these to sprout up, but they might. But this was from some newer green squash or zucchini, and doesn't look like they're doing anything. Here is the lavender, but the cabbage is going to town, so I gotta get a spot ready for the cabbage at least. Cantaloupe is over here, not really doing a whole lot. I've got this little green thing poking its head up, but you never know what that is, because remember the soil we used was found and who knows what was in it. We have some other items here. I had an old batch of tomatoes and I do have a little green something right there coming up, but I'm not seeing a lot else. Bell peppers are still staying in their spot. Cucumber, however, has some action going on, so we'll see what comes of that. And the carrots. Then here are my flowers over here. I had some marigolds. They're starting to prop up, and the pink flower called Sweet William. Excited about that. The first thing to pop up were the sunflowers. They just shot up out of their spot. Asparagus, still not doing its thing. It takes a really long time to grow though. Now over here in my herbs, I see this little guy. This is new. That is probably, it's either chives or sweet basil. I'm gonna make the guess of sweet basil. We'll see though. Oh, here's another one. So maybe it is chives. Here on the other side we got snapdragons coming up. Really beautiful flower. So I'm realizing I didn't do a ton of vegetables. I feel like I need more, and I may go out and get some young vegetable plants to add in if it becomes safe. But we'll see how these do.
But we'll probably have to get those sunflowers especially in the ground pretty soon because they, you know, get real tall and grow pretty fast if I remember correctly. Yep, the garage door's still broken. So we're heading out here to the front garden of weeds to deal with. This one's gotten even taller, that thistle. And we've got a bunch more of them popping up near our purple flowers out front. And I need to clean out these pots along the edge, pull that, get that up. Anyway, I'll get to work on that and see if we can make our front beds look better. We've also got these that grow up in the carport in between the gaps of the concrete. Now that didn't work. It has rained recently, so you'd think it would help, but these roots for these thistles are pretty deep. Let me get my little weeding tool here that can help pry those weeds out. So if I go back into this little crevice and try to pry it out, it might work. Looks like in this case, this one's gonna be tough. Weeds are so tough. So sometimes you just cut them down and then I spray them with like a vinegar soap mixture. And then others are easier to pull out, just depending on the type. It all depends on how big the root is and how deep it goes. So like dandelions have a pretty strong taproot to them and are hard to pull up. So I'll be going along trying to pull up some of those items. So there was a smaller thistle. So this guy over here was bigger and broke off, but I was able to pull this one up. So also if you can pull them up when they're younger, that's a lot better too. And you know, some people will just use Roundup. I quit using Roundup a long time ago. The soap vinegar mixture actually works pretty well. And so I would rather be dealing with that than some kind of very, very poisonous chemical. And I feel the same way with the ant, the things to kill the ants. That's another thing I noticed. Some of the plants, depending on what type they are, they do attract ants to live up in them. So it helps to pull them. Another thing that's helpful is to clean as you go. So I have like a bag, paper sack that I can put out with my trash on trash day. They'll pick up leaves or any other yard waste. So I try to remember to throw it in as I go, because when I've spent a whole afternoon weeding, crawling all over the place, doing different things that pop up into view, I get tired, and at the end the last thing I want to do is go back and sweep it all up. So here's my shelf again with all my stuff. Might need this will be good. My knees will start hurting at some point, so it's a little foam pad to help with that, depending on what I'm doing. And then I'll grab one of these sacks here to put the yard waste in. So one of the hardest things to do, I think, I mean, maybe not one of the hardest, but it's challenging, is to open the lawn leaf bags. So I bought one of these on Amazon a while back, and it helps you hold the bag open to more easily put things in. So I'm gonna try to unfold this thing and use it. So taking this little object and opening it up, trying to figure out what to do. It says follow the instructions on the front for how to fold it. So first insert into open bag. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. You gotta hold it in the wind, and that'll help blow it open sometimes and knock down your other stuff. seams, press on seam, continue pressing back, repeat on other side. I don't really know what all that means. Either off the video. Unless it means that, so it's gonna flip like that. There we go. Okay, very good. Now we have a nice open leaf shoot. Not sure how I want to set it up. So once these suckers get big, they're really spiky and pointy. So I'm not going to be able to just like grab it and pull it out, I don't think. So I'm going to have to figure this out. This one's pretty big. So I was able to use a piece of cardboard and pull it up. There's the root right there. Came up pretty easy there, but it was in a good spot to be simple to pull up. There's actually landscape fabric under these pebbles, so that helps make it easier to weed them out. I was able to pull this one up pretty easy, though I do think the full root did break off. I've got to be careful today because I have had a slip disc in my back. In the past, this time of year is when people tend to injure themselves because they've been dormant for most of the year inside in the winter, and then they go out, start doing lots of work, and if I overdo it or I pull the wrong way, I could re-aggravate that injury. So I'm trying to be careful. These ones are pretty easy to pull out. Very shallow rooted. Some more thistle, and see there are the little puffs ready to blow all over the place as soon as I pull it up. I could probably put some kind of bag over the top so that they didn't fly around, but we all know that I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get some daisies here, so that's cool, and then the traditional type dandelion coming up. Those are kind of hard to pull up. I'll pull that up in a minute. Then I have these tall things, oleander or goldenrod. I can't really tell. Normally they're really easy to pull up though if I just grab and pull. So not too hard to get out, even though they do have some, pretty tough looking roots. This batch of whatever it is came up with like a giant quad of mud and soil, so I'm going to try to knock some of that off before I put it in my bag because we don't want to pull all of that out. So got most of that up, got some giant clumps here. I'm going to put it in my bag. So aside from blowing out the leaves here in a little bit, I got this area pretty much cleaned up for this section and along the back here. Have to keep working my way forward, a little more to go. So we'll see how far we get. Ooh, I made a little progress, but I've got to stop and take a break. I am thirsty. So if we look here, it's cleaning up all right. Still a good ways to go. Water tastes so good when you're working hard. It's like different when you're just normally drinking water, like when you actually been out working hard, sweating in the sun, your throat gets parched, and then the water hits it, it's just like, so good. So gardening is really a lot, in addition to just the normal maintenance of house, like it's nonstop. And I think about when I used to live in an apartment and I didn't have a lawn to mow, I didn't have anything to really take care of on the outside part, and sometimes that's nice. This time of year it's really nice to be out. It helps me get my mind off of work. It helps me to just focus on something else and clear my head. But again, summer in the South, if I stick with this, I'm gonna be sweating it up this summer for sure. So, but if we can at least get this corner garden going, I think we'll be good. We'll see if we want to go farther than that today.
I'm back, rehydrated, rested, ready to tackle the rest of this thing. We can do it. Pulling the weeds, you have to be slow about it so they don't just snap off. Just kind of gradually pull and get as many roots out as you can. Toss it in there. So I'm down to the end, and I was about to get a remaining sow thistle bunch family, and I'm going to show you what. Sow thistle, and as I started yanking it up, something ran underneath my knee guard. It's a little centipede. I can handle a lot of different bugs, but these guys are real. Look how fast he goes. And it's not really, I don't know if that's a centipede. Maybe it is. I know like there's millipedes and centipedes, but all right, you go find yourself a new home. Bye. So I got most of the weeds pulled. I got this area cleaned up a bit. I got my pots cleaned up a bit. The goal here is to get this mounding grass that was here when we moved in, a really pretty grass, but if you don't take care of it and control it, it'll just take over. My goal is to get it growing in these pots. So this one's actually sprouting some out, so that's good. I'm gonna have to figure out how to kill that part off, maybe steal some of it and put over in this pot this year by laying my black plastic down. So this whole garden area used to just explode with weeds every year. Even if I used weed block, it didn't matter. So I used this plastic kind of tarp type stuff and put river rock around it, and then I will eventually remove the plastic from the center area and actually turn that into a garden once the grasses die out a little bit, and it makes it easier to maneuver. But having to try to care for this entire big chunk was really difficult. So now I'm going to get my leaf blower out and clean it up even more, and then we'll wrap up. Got my leaf blower out and the battery that goes with it. No gas with this. And then you start your work. Inchworm maybe, I don't know. Looking for a new place to go. Inching along. Wow, doing some circus tricks there. What will you do now? Can you inch over the top of that? Oh. Oh, oh, oh. Wow, there he goes.
leave him on his way to figure out what he's gonna do in life.
Got a lot of the leaves blown out. It doesn't blow out every single leaf. The river rocks, like, you know, trap some of them, especially when the person who's supposed to be leaf blowing waits the entire season to do it because the rain smashes them down into the rock. But anyway, cleaned it up a little bit. I'm feeling a lot better about the garden out front. And manageable. Now I'll keep having to maintain this or it'll end up looking exactly like it did before and not too much time. We need to get our yard flag hung out. Once the leaf bag is full, I can then pull this guy out. I've got two little handles. It just lifts up like that. And I have a full bag, perfectly full bag that I just wrapped. Okay, so we're gonna hide this in the garage till we figure out if we want to compost it maybe, or just put it out and let it be picked up. But that's good for now. So, after a little bit of work, how do you finish out the day? Hammock, book, dogs, hanging out. We'll see you next time. I probably should have done more work, but at the same time, if you do too much, it just wears you out and you don't want to do it anymore. So, a little bit at a time. But we will have to get the garden ready soon with all those little sprouts coming up. Hopefully we'll have some sunny, temperate days in the next week.